Hello and welcome to today's historic best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video on what I'm calling Stuffy Doll. Stuffy Doll does take its name from the original Stuffy Doll, which is like a neutral artifact from many years ago. And I'm not going to explain what the entirety of the card does, but for the sake of our example, I'll explain a little bit. Stuffy Doll is basically, and we'll use the Brash Taunter as an example, a card that when it gets damaged, it deals that much damage to target opponent. So that's what our deck wants to do. We want to get one of our two Stuffy Dolls out, either the Brash Taunter or the new Barbed Servitor. And once we get those on the board, we want to either use them to block save with the Taunter, or just play any one of the several red damage-based sweepers we have to not only deal with our opponent's board in question, but also turn that damage into face that goes over any blockers or anything like that. And you're sort of looking to, like, I want to say combo out, but really you're just trying to control out the game and eventually, through a big flashy, like, quote, combo finish, kind of win the game. Where the big combo is playing a Star of Extinction, blowing up their land, and also having like one of our Stuffy Dolls out, where you just deal 20 damage to your opponent's face. And that is the core of the list. Beyond that, we just have some support cards. Cards like Chandra, and even like, let's see, like Liliana, just good like control tools and ways to sort of fight for the board. We also have some card draw in the form of the One Ring, again Chandra, and even, I guess you could consider the Elder Dragon War. And a nice little surprise bit of tech here that you wouldn't think would mesh very well. We have 4 copies of Marauding Raptor, allowing us to ramp into our Stuffy Dolls faster. And where normally, outside of a dinosaur deck, the entering and then pinging the creature thing could be construed as a bad thing. Since the only creatures we're really running are the Stuffy Doll effects, we actually want the Marauding Raptor to damage our Stuffy Dolls, which is, again, just little bits of like chip damage here and there going over our opponent's defenses and board. And that is the basics of the list. The land base is equally pretty simple. Just more or less run any run mostly dual lands that can come into play pretty early on untapped, but this land base is pretty simple and pretty forgiving. So say if you we use the pathways for an example. Let's say you don't have the pathways, but you happen to have 4 of the red-black temples. You could use those. This is a slower, more controlling deck, so you don't mind if some of your lands come into play untapped. Also, we are running some indestructible lands, because I also have been using Phylactery Lich, which is like a fun little pet card, which works like, 5 out of 10 times in this deck. But if you don't have Phylactery Lich and you have everything else, just cut this out and replace, like, more Lilianas or more Chandras or whatever. This is not necessary at all. It's just a pet card that is not strictly necessary for the deck. And beyond those lands, just generally good cards like Ramanops and a Hive, and just generally all of the utility lands that Red-Black has access to. Sideboard, pretty self-explanatory. Alpine Moon for Gates decks, and Nykthos, Necromentia for combo decks, Brotherhood's End for another sweeper, or a way to get rid of cheap artifacts, Chandra, Awakened Inferno for control decks, Cling to Dust for graveyards, Witch's Vengeance for the occasional tribal deck that shows up, and 3 copies of Rampaging Ferocidon for the loads of white X Soul Sister life gain thing decks floating around the format, which there are loads of. Rampaging Ferocidon is a fantastic card for hosing that. Although if you have that Tainted Remedy card and want to run that and like don't want to craft all 3 Ferocidons, you can run that too and it's fine. It's more the effect you're looking for. And that is the basics of the list. Don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions like, I don't have X, what about Y, or just generally nice and or constructive comments, if you want to leave them down below, I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. With all that out of the way, we'll go on now to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Stuffy Doll list. And again, we play first because we have a brain. And, I mean, this is honestly pretty good. We would like to have some black mana so we can cast a Murderous Rider if we need to, but we can deal with this. Opponent isn't doing that much either. So we'll just go ahead and play a Marauding Raptor. This will do a really good job of showing off the cute little interaction between the Raptors and our Stuffy Dolls. If it lives. Our opponent has only played Swamps, so they probably have removal spells. Okay, that's fair. In that case, we'll go ahead and play the Drossforge Bridge. And if you, yeah, again, if you don't have these or the Lich and you don't want to run them, you can replace them and be fine. Why the Mind Stones? Okay. Anywho, since we can't do anything else, go ahead and play a Chandra. Just start upticking it. Needless to say, okay, that's fine. Another, I guess you could call an alternate win con is if you manage to get the Chandra emblem, but that, you know, that's most Planeswalkers with an emblem. If you manage to resolve them, the game is usually over.
I don't need this.
That's fine. That's less fine. I think we're gonna Elder Dragon War, going immediately to the discard step, because I want to, like, find a land here. We'll get rid of, like, a couple, and hope we find a land. That'll do it. Play a Pathway on black, so if we draw another one of our riders, or any of our, you know, more than one black pip mana cards. Sorry? Oh, it's like a, okay, like a mono-black chromatic land. I haven't seen one of these lists in a really long time. That's awesome. I don't know, is there like another cool thing they like get nowadays, or... Anywho, I'm really fascinated by it. Go ahead and play the Brash Taunter. Black does have access to artifact, or not artifact. Black has access to exile effects, so there's a chance that we're not going to be able to, yeah, to do this, but I'd be surprised if in a list like this they're going to have exile effects game 1. What did they get? I guess we'll play the Barbed Servitor. If our opponent has some sort of like exile-based interaction, then we just have to make them use it. It's one of those. That's really all you can kind of hope for. And of course, if nothing else, you can always attack with the Stuffy Dolls in question. They do have, you know, powers and toughnesses and can fight as creatures. Oh, well, okay, there's another one of those exile effects. And this is one of the shortfalls of the deck, is that, sadly, gone are the days where an indestructible creature, like, really represented like a big threat. There are just way too many exile effects floating around. But, you know, but that's more of a statement on Magic R&D as a whole, and less so like a particular quibble with this deck. That's just how modern Magic is. In the meantime, doing the Pathway on black, go ahead and attack. I guess we'll do a couple Sweltering Suns. I don't remember this list playing a whole lot of like creatures, and even if they do, we do have a Burn Down the House. But this is honestly doing pretty good. This is honestly doing a pretty good job of just showing what the deck's trying to do. Now, in this, actually, our opponent's deck is actually a pretty good example of kind of the point I'm about to get to. A deck like this only works, at least in Historic's case, with in a meta where the meta is like particularly slow. And not like slow in a bad way, just, you know, sometimes metas are more aggressive and more creature-based, and sometimes they're slower and more control-E and combo-E. And in my experience, as of recording and will be release of this video, the Historic metagame is actually pretty slow. So you can get away with running weird decks like this a little easier, if that makes sense. Go ahead and play Burn Down the House. Give them their card, that's fine. Our deck is kind of doing the thing, it has to be said. Now, whether we win or not is an entirely separate game. But we're doing pretty good. And then, and actually, now that we have time, during our opponent's turn and nothing else to do. To go back to the point I was just talking about, even when metas are kind of faster, as you've seen, our deck runs an absolute shitload of like just main deck sweepers, where that is a really good hedge and an insurance, if you will, or assurance, whichever one's the correct one, that the deck will do fine against a good amount of creature-based aggressive decks, because you just, you play a sweeper, and odds are you're doing okay. Of course, more exile effects, but fine. I don't think I've heard that particular voice line before. I was about to despair, but I do have some Ramunap Ruins, so maybe we can just walk it in. I mean, yeah, it's one of those. I think we're at the point now where if our opponent has some black way to gain life, which is very possible in the color. What the fuck is that? The fuck is that? Who the fuck runs that? Okay, that's fine. Sure, I guess. Fine. Whatever. What the fuck is the biggest load of shit on the planet? Why run the black? Why? It's fucking outdated. What are we doing? Because the Cabal Coffers still only makes fucking black. And they exiled my shit, so I can't even get that. We'll stay in it. But I acknowledge that it's probably done. Are we good? 5. Oh, that's so annoying. I actually have to take the Rider. Otherwise, he's just going to down tick and exile my board again. Okay, nope. I forgot why, yeah. That deck is like black on paper. Still, I mean, not for nothing. Short of the goofy ass, I now know what he got off of the what's it fucking called? The Masterminds acquisition was clearly Inspired Ultimatum. But yeah, like the deck did, even considering the loss, did pretty well in showing what the deck's trying to do. We will go ahead and play a couple Necromentia and just name the Mastermind and like an Ugin and hope that gets there. The Liches are pointless in a deck that has loads of exile effects and is only going to have more. So yeah, this is going to be our easy 1-to-1 swap. And don't mistake my moaning and groaning about like weird decks like this as some like condemnation of this list. Even if this video doesn't like show it in the best light, it's still been an absolutely fucking blast of a deck to run. And if you're looking for a fun deck to run, if you know, a few days, or in my case, a couple of weeks, this is a good one to do. Again, playing first because we have a brain. We have all the, well, most of the things we need, so go ahead and Blood Crypt on 1. Ah. Okay, we're really doing pretty good. Guess we'll do Mountain Doom and a Liliana. Odds are we will hit another land, so we can't afford to get rid of the bridge.
Don't overthink things.
And at this stage, just anything we can do to make them get rid of cards. Now, whether it'll work or matter or not is a different question. Go ahead and play the Servitor. Okay. Immediately cracks the Mind Stone, which is pretty good. In that case, we're just going to keep on chipping down our opponent's hand. Getting rid of the Murderous Rider, since, to be honest, if they play another Ugin, I have to wait for him to resolve the down tick ability for me to have priority to, like, remove it anyway, at which point, well, shit. Well, then we've already, you know, we're losing the battle, as it were. It's in a weird spot. Okay, Barb Servitor, I need a land, please. That's not a land, but that's very close. I guess we can get... Let's just get rid of Ugin. He's already gotten whatever goofy card he's going to get out of it with the Mastermind's acquisition. Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. Should be the one I'm thinking of. Okay, he has a Liliana in hand, a removal spell. We can skim his deck here. He does have the Ugins, clearly. Extinction, Mastermind, Solemn. The Elder spell's kind of spicy. Okay, really, yeah, beyond the Ugins and the Masterminds, there's not that much left to it. Yeah. Okay, that's a huge weight off of our shoulders, it has to be said. We didn't draw the land, but again, I'm much... Oh, he can make me sack my shit, can't he? Yeah, okay, my whole point was... We're just trying to, like, deprive him of resources. Yeah, he can make us sack stuff. Also, there's a load of sacrifice outlets like this around. Huh. Okay. Let's do Liliana of the Veil Ultimate. I'm gonna give him, let's see, we'll put Liliana, Mind Stone, Cabal Coffers, and a land in one pile are 3 non-basics. Hopefully this way will, like, just make him have the most awkward, like, choice. Or what I believe to be the most awkward choice. Yeah, okay, then we play a Brash Taunter. I think it's 4 for the down tick. You can't destroy it with Heartless Act, which is pretty good. Okay, $1 million question. Do we... I want to get greedy and play another Brash Taunter, but we need to burn down the house now. It's one of those, we're not going to win by trying to out-greed our opponent's deck. Their deck is better at that than we are. And again, we can always just play the Taunter next turn. And he's cracking his Mind Stone. This is very good. We've done a good job of setting him back. Now we will play the other Brash Taunter. Again, our opponent, if nothing else, has the priority for the Heartless Act or the Cabal Coffers, I think. No, our Stronghold, whatever it's called. Okay. It's not doing great. I don't know what else he's grabbed. Oh, please. Please. I'm so fucking close. Okay, I'm not going to play the Liliana. I don't want to get rid of the Star. Oh my god, we're so close. Actually, probably Liliana needs to go. That's the most problematic one. Oh, give me lands. I want to do the Star of Extinction thing, please. No! Alright, whatever. What a borehole. Okay, now there's actually no point in keeping it. That will require so many turns to set up again.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Yeah. You sure showed me. What? Okay, if you can get rid of the Raptor with the Heartless Act. Pardon. Cool. Can still do it. I guess we'll just play the Elder Dragon War and just summon a dragon. Don't have any cards to discard. Its opponent and... Hang on, what's the first one? Let me just... Hang on. Did I... Okay, there's an argument that I should have kept that. But I'm okay with that. That's fine. And you know, even after it, we're still doing pretty good. I mean, one might still be dead. Like, that has to be sad. Okay. Yeah, just keep on upticking.
You won't be
Okay, I didn't think we would, like, still be in this game after that resolved, but sure. Just looking to get rid of the most problematic cards. Yeah, and the Masterminds is still... Oh my god, we won. Fucking hell yeah. That's awesome. Pardon the mic moving. I'm trying to, like, figure it out. Yeah, I think our sideboarding strategy was sound. Just gotta, like, you know, make our opponent have the thing, you know, have the removal, have the, whatever 4-mana extinction thing. Just gotta have make our opponent have it. Yeah, go ahead and keep it. That's fine. Not that bad. Bard Servitor. Our opponent's doing things. In that case, play the other Blood Crypt. The Liliana on turn 3 really does, like, open up some more options. What do I get rid of with the Liliana uptick here? God damn. I guess there's an argument with all of the, like, little, as a fellow jank glue enthusiast, with all of the jank glue they have, there's an argument to be made that I should have also brought in, like, a Brotherhood's End, say, and, like, subbed out, like, a Sweltering Suns, whatever that card is. There's an argument I should have done that. We'll go with Springs now. Liliana. I think we get rid of the Murderous Rider.
No more distractions.
It's like the least useful right now.
Drop it.
Tap and that page counter scry on that one. Keeps it on top. Again, at this point, if nothing else, if all we can do is like, okay, I can make him sack that. That's fine. Because we have to. Yeah, we do that all day long. We'll do Pathway on Black. In this case, we will down-tick the Golos, since we can't afford to have them at any point popping off with his activated ability. That's just pain and misery waiting to happen. That's creature and opponent, right? Okay, so I can do it, and my Liliana will be fine, which is very good. They are doing it smart, though. They're scrying before drawing, so they can actually curate it. If they don't like it, they can do it again with the treasure map. And the fact that they're, like, so desperately looking means they're, like, they don't like what they've got. Or it would tell me that it doesn't seem like they like what they've got. Again, if they crack the Mind Stone, much the same thing. It's got access to 5 mana, 6 mana. It's not great. Yeah, it's not looking. Wait, what? Why? Okay, if that isn't what there's no. Okay, I know how this sounds. My deck running this many main deck sweepers, but if I were a betting man, I'd bet $1 on he pulled that from his sideboard. Which, I mean, cool, I guess. If it works, it works. I guess we'll One Ring. I am cool with losing life. I'm just trying to... There we go, that's good. Might as well uptick and get rid of the other One Ring. Our opponent's probably going to do the same thing, where they're, like, scrying before their draw, if they're, like, that desperate. I think they have a look at, like, 3 cards. Okay. Doesn't like any of them, which is good for me. If we can name that Ugin, like, we'll be in a really good spot. Oh yeah, Brash Taunter, 100%. Each player, I guess, discards a card, and
I'm tired of your secrets.
I guess we'll get rid of the Sweltering Suns. Yeah, in hindsight, I should have replaced the Sweltering Suns with a Brotherhood's End. That was a bad call on my part. I mean, it's not like the worst call. You have to tap that and sack it, don't you? Yeah. Okay, so I got some time. Sad Robot. That's not it. It's not so far. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna. I don't. Oh, hang on. Can I keep? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I can do Chandra all 4. Get an uptick Chandra for 2 red. Playing an Elder Dragon War, allowing the first chapter to resolve. Will damage, you know, both his Sad Robot, getting rid of him, which I wanted, and himself via the Brash Taunter, and will allow me to then make him discard whatever he drew. That's a big one. That's very good. Okay, I know our opponent's at 20, and it doesn't seem like we're doing great, but I maintain we're actually doing pretty good. Okay, he's got a load of mana, however, and if he has like an Ugin, I think I just lose, right? That's not an Ugin. That is not an Ugin. He might remove the Chandra. Or does he remove the Liliana? Yeah, the Chandra is the smarter pick here. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that land because I want to look at something else. Alright, another land. I guess... Well, hang on. We'll uptick first. And then we'll draw.
Drop it.
See what we hit. Chandra is okay.
I'm the best fire starter there is.
I hate that I kind of... Yeah, I have to do it like that, sadly.
You're going down.
I want to actually retain the draw in case I can draw like a Necromentia and get rid of their Ugin. Because really, an Ugin is like what saves them here. It's like not even close. Okay, 1, 2... He's looking at like 3 cards this turn. If he cracks his Mind Stone. If he has Ugin, he just has it, and life is miserable and sucks and is awful. Doesn't look like he does. Because he would have played it first. We'll take that. We are losing some life, it has to be said. Make a dragon. Play the land, see what we draw off top. Oh, that's not helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I can one ring and draw some more cards and look a little more deeper. That's pretty good. So we can do a Raptor. I think we're at the point where if we accept the fact that if our opponent has Ugin, then he's done the thing. Then, you know, odds are we just die. Go ahead and swing with the Brash Taunter. Hoping against all hope he has look at 1 draw from his draw step, 2nd from Treasure Cove. Technically a look at a 3rd card. So he draws 2 cards, looks at 3, I think, with the treasure map, if I'm getting this math right. This is like weirdly tense. I did not expect this game to take this long, but dude, this is again a good what's the word? Example of the fact that, like, in my experience, oh fuck me. Well, okay, he's got it. That's it. There's okay. That's just cool. Like, I'll keep playing, but like it's not looking good. Can do X is... Hang on. Divided. 6 or more. I think we need to do... Can I do 6? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can. 2 targets, and because it's over 6... Oh, 2, 3... 6, 6... Oh, right. Hang on. There we go. Okay, I mean, we're alive for another turn. I don't know how much that matters, has to be said. Our one ring is gonna get us killed. This is one of those, like, you know, decks where, like, if you win, but if you lose, you lose. Sure, I guess we'll do Elder Dragon War. Keep trying to dig. In that case, go immediately to the wheel effect. Because neither of these do anything for me at this point. You know what doesn't do it? That either. Again, just keep going. Just gotta keep looking. Oh boy! Yeah, I don't think there's any combination of things we draw that, like, doesn't get us killed. I will go to our next draw, and if we don't, like, by some miracle find some way to win, which we won't, because the deck, it just doesn't exist in the deck, then we'll just, like, scoop. So unfortunate, man. I felt, like, really good about this list until the Ugin. Well, that's absolutely useful. Oh, boy. And sometimes, you know, you just get bad luck and draw bad. Well, let's see what we would have gotten. Well, you're too late. Okay. Good game from our opponent. And honestly, I mean, the deck did show what it was, you know, capable of doing. Our opponent got lucky, drew Ugin, which is yet another exile effect that kind of hoses what this deck wants to do. Still a lot of fun, though, much like the list. Anywho, we'll go on now to game number 2. And welcome to game number 2 with our little stuffy doll list. Opponent going first because they have a brain. Yeah, we'll mulligan it. 5 lands is a little much. Of course. That's better. We can get rid of the 1 ring and, like, an Elder Dragon War. We don't love that, it has to be said. But, I mean, you know, it's, like, fine. Better than a 2-lander. Mountain. Right, what? The fuck is that? In his battlefield, suspect it. Whenever 1 or more creatures into the battlefield under your control, if this card is suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do... Okay, that's cute. I like that. It's not good, but, like, it's a very good bit. Go ahead and play the Blood Crypt. It's not a bad card for, like, a mono red aggressive list. I don't know if it's good, but I always enjoy watching people, like, try stuff. Yep, he is suspected now. Really? Dueling Rapier. Okay. Admittedly, our opponent is being very budget-friendly right now, it has to be said. Go ahead and play the Pathway on reds. We're gonna need some more sweepery stuff, and that's all double red as a minimum. We will be bringing in the Brotherhood's End now, since their deck is a more pure, like, red deck wins thing, to where, like, a Witch's Vengeance wouldn't do any good. And we're gonna die before, unless we draw something good. My god. I mean, good on you. That hurts a lot. Unless we draw a sweeper, we're actually dead. That's really fascinating. Now, if we draw a sweeper, we're golden. But we don't. Okay, that's fine. mean, I know I made that whole spiel about, like, our deck having a load of sweepers and therefore is good against, you know, aggressive decks. But, you know, if you don't draw the sweeper, then you're in for some trouble. Star's pretty good. Honestly, the Rider is not the most useful. Maybe, like a Liliana also, because their board's going to be so wide that they're, like, always going to sacrifice, like, the least impactful thing to whatever it is they're doing. I love our opponent's deck, though. It was, like, a lot of, like, equipment stuff. That's fascinating. Yeah, go ahead and play first. That's something. Don't know if it's great, but it is something. And good enough that we're going to keep it. We're not, like, that, you know, foolish. Yeah, we'll do a Blood Crypt now while we can. Playing a Marauding Raptor. If our opponent plays something big and scary, if we don't like it, but we can do a Murderous Rider play and get rid of it. I imagine they would. Maybe they have a burn spell they're going to use to get rid of the Raptor. You know, your Lightning Strikes or whatever of the world. Whatever flavor of removal spell they're running. But I'm always, like, I really enjoy playing against red deck wins, because it's always a good sign that the list, this list in a format is a good sign that, like, the meta of a particular format is in a good place. Oh my god. Honestly, yeah, we take the damage. Or we don't take the damage when we block, and we just take the damage next turn from the Rider, because that's gotta go. There's no question to that. Goodbye. If we need to, and if our opponent develops a really large board next turn, we can always do the One Ring as like a fog style effect and buy us a turn. Honestly, if they don't have, like, trample on their cards, the Brash Taunter is going to do us a lot of good. We might need to... Correction, unless we draw a sweeper, we definitely need to One Ring and, like, stall for time. Well... Yeah. Okay. That'll save us a buttload of life. And this is not even including whatever he would have played, or is going to play this turn. Huh. A 1/2 artifact. That's, like, for an uncommon, it's, like, surprisingly good. Well done. Okay, we really need to draw a sweeper that our deck has loads of. That's not a sweeper. Sure, we'll do this and draw, because if we don't draw one, we're really, really dead. Okay, I should have been more specific. That is technically what I asked for. Yeah, just play the Murderous Rider. Okay. We're not immediately dead, though, it has to be said. Again, we would love one of those mini sweepers. Does he have, like, an Embercleave or something? Do we just die? Oh, please tell me it's Embercleave. Oh. Oh, does that do it? That might do it. What's the equip? 3. Okay. Yep. I mean, yeah. Good on our opponent. And that's not a sweeper. Do I lose damage when I draw? Beginning of your upkeep. Okay, well, let's just see if we would have drawn one next turn. Probably wouldn't have mattered. Okay, we were really dead. Okay. Well played. Yeah, and sometimes you don't draw your sweepers to where even if we had taken the time and or either taken the time or our opponent had a bad start and we, like, say, got some of our Brash Taunters and stuff, or any one of our stuffy dolls on the field, not for nothing. I mean, only the Brash Taunter can taunt. The Servitor cannot, because of the Suspect thing. Which would help, but really, it really works when you're able to, like, hit one of the mini sweepers the decks have, And if it doesn't, like, an already, like, silly, goofy idea, like, it does get worse. Again, this deck has still been an absolute blast, and I, like, 100% recommend you play it at home. If, whether, you know, for a couple days, or you're looking for a pet deck for a while. Stuffy Doll has been an absolutely fantastic, like, deck to show off. Like, you know, every once in a while, don't worry about the wins. Just make a goofy brew, have a few days of fun with it, and be like, that was fun. And then if you want to go back to the ladder grind or the very spike kind of activities, nothing inherently wrong with that if you want to go back to that. But every once in a while, let your hair down, have some fun. Life's too short, you know? But anywho, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any sort of questions, like, I don't have X, what about Y, or other just generally, you know, somewhat constructive things to say, I'll do what I can to respond to what I see. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day, and go have a little fun out there. Bye-bye.